Welcome to Section 5 of the tutorial for creating an interactive Excel dashboard. In this section, we will be building the dashboard worksheet. Open the Excel file that you saved at the end of Section 4. Remember that these 6 sections need to be completed in order. This section has 5 steps. This is the exciting section. We will be building the interactive dashboard using elements from the other worksheets we have built. So for the first step, on the Calculation Distribution Channel worksheet, select the slicer and chart, click and hold down the Control key, then hit Ctrl+X to cut those items and place them in memory. Navigate to the dashboard and hit Ctrl+V to paste those 2 elements into the dashboard worksheet. Repeat the directions to bring the slicer and chart over to the dashboard from the Calculation Product worksheet. A reminder of those cut and paste steps is next. To cut and paste slicers and pivot tables from the Calculation worksheets to the dashboard worksheets, 1. Select the slicer and pivot table by holding down the Control key on clicking on them. 2. Hit Ctrl+X to cut. 3. Navigate to the dashboard worksheet and hit Ctrl+V to paste. On the Calculation Product worksheet, select cells B22 through F26. Then click the camera icon in the Quick Access toolbar. This is the tool you added in Section 1. Navigate to the dashboard and click in any cell to paste a dynamic picture of the pivot table. This screenshot will change as the slicer buttons are clicked. We are going to make another dynamic screenshot now. Navigate to the Calculation Distribution Channel worksheet. Select cells B23 to cell C35, then click on the camera icon. Navigate to the dashboard worksheet and click in any cell to paste that picture in. Navigate to the Calculation Segment Margins worksheet. Narrow column G so that the words just fit. Select cells G2 through M7 and click on the camera tool. Hit Enter to paste the segment margins table. Then click and drag the dashboard elements to arrange them roughly as shown. We will fine-tune it later. Still in the Dashboards worksheet, on the Insert tab, click on Shapes, and in the drop-down box that appears, click on Text Box. Click and drag to make a text box at the top of the Dashboard worksheet. With the text box still selected, click in the formula bar and type equals. Navigate to the Calculation Distribution Channel worksheet and click on cell A1, the cell that contains the dynamic text that we want in the dashboard. Then hit Enter. When you return to the dashboard, you will see the text from the Calculation Division worksheet in your text box. You can drag the text box corners to reshape the box to make it fit. Be sure to make the text box longer than you need because as the text changes in response to slicer button clicks, it might need more space. To summarize those steps we just performed to get the dynamic text strings into the dashboard worksheet, here are the steps. 1. Click and drag to make a text box at the top of the dashboard worksheet. 2. With the text box still selected, click in the formula bar and type equals. 3. Navigate to the worksheet cell containing the text formula you want to use and hit Enter. 4. Drag the text box corners in the worksheet to reshape the box to fit the text. Repeat the dynamic text box steps to bring all the text from the worksheets to the dashboard as shown. On the next slide, I will show a list of the cells containing the dynamic text strings needed in the dashboard worksheet. Each of the cells in this table contain dynamic text strings. Each of those text strings should be referenced in the dashboard worksheet following the steps we just reviewed. Here is a list of those cells. In the calculation distribution channel, you will have cell A1, cell B10, cell C10, cell C11, cell C12. In the calculation distribution channel, you will also have cell C13 and cell C14. In the calculation product worksheet, you will need cell A1, cell F8, cell F9, and cell F10. In the segment margin worksheet, you will need cell G1. Here is another view of the placement of those dynamic text boxes in the dashboard worksheet. Now we are going to format all the headings in the dashboard worksheet. Select all the text boxes by holding down the Control key and clicking the left mouse button on each one. On the Home tab in the ribbon, click on Bold Text. Keep the same headings selected. On the Shape Format tab, click on Shape Outline, and in the drop-down box, click on No Outline. On the Home tab, click the arrow next to the font size to see a drop-down box. Click on 16. Let's summarize those steps. To format text boxes on the dashboard worksheet, 1. Select the text boxes you wish to format by holding down the Control key and clicking on them. 2. On the Home tab, use the font size drop-down arrow to make font size selection. Follow the previous instructions to increase the font size to 18 for contribution margin by distribution channel, contribution margin by product, and the dollar amount. Select the text shown. On the Home tab, click the drop-down arrow for text color. Choose Gray, Accent 1, Darker 25%. Select the text boxes shown. On the Home tab, click the drop-down arrow for text color. Click on More Colors. In the Colors dialog box, on the Custom tab, enter the hex code # or hashtag 005C5C. Click OK. Click on each individual text box and reshape the box by clicking and dragging the edges. Be sure each box is large enough to show all the text as you scroll through the slicer buttons. Use the center align text buttons as needed to center the text above the dashboard elements. Be sure not to center the text boxes with the arrows in them. On the Page Layout tab, uncheck the View box under Gridlines to make the background for the dashboard a clean, solid white. Select one of the charts. On the Format tab, click on Shape Outline. In the drop-down box, click on No Outline. Repeat this process for the other chart. Note that this is a process works only on one chart at a time, so you have to do it one chart at a time. Select the text boxes with the arrows on the left of the dashboard. On the Shape Format tab, click on Align. In the drop-down box, click on Align Left. Select the elements on the top of the dashboard. On the Shape Format tab, click on Align. In the drop-down box, click on Align Top. Now we are going to change the slicer button color to give our dashboard another pop of color. Select the Distribution Channel Slicer. On the Slicer tab, right-click on the first slicer style. In the drop-down box, click on Duplicate. In the dialog box that appears, click on the selected item with data and then click on Format. In the Format Slicer Element dialog box, click on More Colors. In the Color dialog box, enter hex code equal # or hashtag 00A8A8. Click OK. Click OK again. Click on the new slicer style to select it. Select the product slicer and click on the new slicer style. Now we are going to add an error message that displays when more than one slicer button is selected at a time. In cell A10, type the formula as shown on the screen. Now, that formula is also in the PDF of the notes of these slides. Here is the formula enlarged so that you can see it better. Again, it will be in the notes for the slides. Since that is a large formula, you can copy and paste the formula from the student case handout into cell A10 in this worksheet. To paste the formula into this cell, you need to click in cell A10 and then click in the formula bar and paste the formula into the formula bar itself rather than the cell directly. Hold the Control key and choose 2 distribution channels to see if your formula works. Then change the font to red and increase the font size to 14. Now let's add an error message for the other slicer for if more than one button is selected at a time. In cell M16, type the formula as shown on the screen. Remember that formula is in the notes for the PDFs of the slides. And here that formula is displayed larger. And you can copy that formula from the student case handout into cell M16 in this worksheet. Remember that to paste the formula into this cell, you need to click in cell M16 and then click in the formula bar and paste the formula into the formula bar itself rather than the cell directly. Hold the Control bar and choose 2 products to see if your formula works. Then change the font color to red and increase the font size to 14. Our dashboard is complete. We are now done with section 5 of this project. Please save your Excel file. You will be using the file for the next section of this project. This video was created by Dr. Wendy Tietz. Have a great day.